Well, happy Valentine's Day, friends. I wanted to do this special episode because right now, probably everywhere you look, it's all about self love and treat yourself vibes. The chocolates, the spa days, the indulgence. And don't get me wrong, I do love a good reason to celebrate. Here's the thing: what happens when the chocolates are gone? When the bubble bath is over? When you wake up tomorrow still carrying the same exhaustion, the same overwhelm, and the same feeling of just being stretched too thin. I get it because that's the reality for so many women. We get these little moments of like treating ourselves, but the deep, restorative, life-changing self-care, well, that's the part we keep putting off. So today I wanted to go a bit deeper than just a holiday excuse for self-love. I'm going to talk about why do we struggle to prioritize ourselves and how to break free from the guilt. How burnout is affecting your hormones, your health, and your happiness, and 3 powerful mindset shifts to help you stop feeling guilty for taking care of you. And a little bit on a personal note, I want to talk about how going on a retreat isn't just a vacation, it's a transformational reset. And I'm going to share some real stories from women who finally said yes to themselves and walked away completely changed. Because self-care isn't just about one day of treating yourself. It's about creating a life where you don't have to escape just to feel okay. And if something in you is craving that kind of deep reset, stick around because I have 2 spots left in this summer's Refresh and Flourish retreat in Costa Rica. And maybe, just maybe, one of them is meant for you. All right, picture this. You wake up, but instead of your alarm blaring, it's the sound of birds chirping in the jungle. Instead of jumping out of bed to get someone breakfast, you stretch, sip a warm cup of coffee on your private balcony, and just breathe. No responsibilities, no rushing, no, I should be doing something productive. Just space. To be, to reconnect with yourself, to feel clarity again, to feel like you again. Sounds dreamy, right? But also maybe impossible? Because let's be honest, most of us have been conditioned to believe that rest is selfish, that taking time away is indulgent, and that we should just push through. And yet, look at where that's gotten us. Women today are more burnt out, overwhelmed, and exhausted than ever before. We're running on fumes, pouring from an empty cup, and wondering why we feel disconnected, resentful, and completely depleted. But what if I told you self-care isn't just a nice thing to do? It's actually a biblical truth. In Mark 12:31, it says, love your neighbor as yourself. But how can you love others well if you aren't taking care of yourself? So let's talk about the real reason that we feel guilty for taking care of ourselves. I think it's because we've been told things like, you can rest when the work is done. Spoiler, the work is never done. Moms should be selfless, as if losing ourselves makes us better mothers. You just need to push through. Until what? Until we break down completely? We live in this productivity-obsessed culture that makes women feel like they have to do it all the time. But what happens when you do? Let's be honest, you burn out. You resent your own life. You snap at the people that you love most. You feel exhausted, but you can't sleep. And here's what research actually tells us. Women who take intentional self-care breaks experience improved mental clarity, better sleep, and even better relationships. Studies also show that retreats can lower cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and increase well-being for months afterward. And taking time for yourself doesn't just benefit you, it benefits your family, your work, and your ability to show up fully in life. So if you've ever felt guilty for stepping back or asking for help or even prioritizing yourself, I just want you to hear it loud and clear. Self-care is not selfish. It's essential. I want to talk about 3 mindset shifts to let go of the guilt and to prioritize you. Number 1, stop waiting for permission. Nobody's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you look exhausted. Why don't you just take a week for yourself? You actually have to give yourself permission to rest because nobody else will. Number 2, remember, rest is a necessity, not a luxury. Your body needs rest. Your mind needs quiet. Your soul needs space. I mean, honestly, even the Lord took a day of rest. So if he can do it, so can you. I personally was convicted even thinking about Jesus taking a nap when the boat was being overcome by the waves. He was resting when everybody else was freaking out around him. You're not lazy for taking care of yourself. Number 3, ask yourself, what example am I setting? If you have daughters, what do you want them to learn about self-worth? If you have a partner, what message are you sending about what you deserve? Choosing you is the best gift you can give to the people you love most. I also wanted to share some stories of what happens when you say yes to yourself. And in my past retreats, here's what some of the past attendees have said. I went into the retreat feeling exhausted, unhealthy, and stuck in my own habits. I left with a new perspective on my body, my health, and my worth. Someone else said, I'd never done yoga before and I was worried about looking stupid. But by the end of the retreat, I was in love with it. I wasn't just working out, I was reconnecting with my body in a way I had never done before. Someone else said, this was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was also the most life-changing thing I've ever done. And for me, these are the whole reason I do retreats, because I know what happens when you finally take that leap. You don't just relax, you really come home to yourself. So why is a retreat experience different? It's not just a vacation. It's a full mind, body, and soul reset. So imagine waking up to the sounds of the rainforest, drinking coffee on your private balcony, and having no responsibilities for a few days. Yoga, movement, meditation, nourishing food, which, by the way, you don't have to cook. It's just not another to-do list, but as a way to reconnect with your body. You have deep, meaningful conversations that help you realign with what truly matters. I even have sessions on nutrition, hormonal balance, and how to juggle it all without losing yourself. And of course, no retreat would be complete without massages, relaxation, a blue clay experience, and even a beach dinner under the stars. This really isn't about escaping your life. It's about stepping into it more fully, more alive, and more you. So if you're listening to this and something inside of you is whispering, I need this, I want you to listen to that. I have 2 rooms left. And if one is meant for you, let's talk. You can send me a message on Instagram at Coach Susan Gladstein. Send me an email at susan@susangladstein.com, or you can go to susangladstein.com/retreat and get all the details. You can even book a call with me. I'll link that in the show notes if you want to go over things. And even if this retreat isn't for you, I want you to ask yourself, how can you start prioritizing your own reset today? Because you deserve it. You always have. Thanks for being here. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who needs this reminder too. We'll talk soon.